Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I love starting these vlogs in really weird locations. Sometimes it's just really fun. I got a new microphone. It's really cute. It's much better than the previous one. We're gonna see how it sounds. If it sounds bad, I'm just gonna redo this clip because I cannot stand the sound being that bad. And I really did not like the other microphone. I just don't think it sounded very good. So we upgraded quite a bit. I'm returning the other one. And I think this one is going to be better. I did test it out. I'm still kind of working out the issues with it, but I think we're okay. We're gonna move into the romantasy vlog. We're moving into the romantasy vlog. I'm kind of nervous about this category because there are some things that frighten me a little bit, but let's go over it more in detail than what I did in my regular Goodreads video. So starting off with what we have here, I still agree with my vote going to The Night and the Moth. Already read it, 5 stars. So Alchemized might be in this video. It might get a little like, hey, we read this for the book box video for this video. We read Alchemized for the, what was it, October? Was it October books? Or no, it's September? I think it's, no, it's September. I just opened October's books. It's for September. We're almost caught up. I'm almost on the August video, so I'll move right into the September video and I'll start with Alchemized. That way it's for this video. So I can talk about it a little bit. I don't know if I'll finish it before this video comes out. It will probably be something that I'm reading in the background the whole video. So we will be getting to Alchemize. I just don't know if I'm going to finish it. Our Vicious Oaths is our first one that I haven't read, that I don't own, and I don't know anything really about. So let's look at our Vicious Oaths. I mean, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. It's not in a big series, so that's nice. It looks like it's the first or potentially a standalone. Enter a new world of romantic fantasy from award-winning author Annie Davenport, a journey of powerful magic enemies to lovers and political intrigue, as a warrior princess and a vengeful king from rival Fae courts, you know I love Fae, from a fierce alliance to take down a merciless despot. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like something I would like. And again, it looks like it's either standalone or, oh, it's the author of the Blood Trials. I've talked about that quite a few times on my channel that I want to read it, and I still have it somewhere. But yeah, it's very funny going from the Blood Trials to a romantasy. Very interesting. So I want to read this one. This one is on Kindle Unlimited, so I was able to get that. Oh, it did the thing. Okay, I can't click on anything. I forgot. Well, at least Alchemize was first. So next, Wild Reverence. Wild Reverence is on the back burner. It is the lowest priority of the low in this video because it is taking place in the Divine Rivals universe. It is 500 years before, I think, Divine Rivals takes place. Someone in my comments said that it didn't take place in the same universe, but I definitely looked it up and it definitely does. I don't know the conflicting information, but because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's like a prequel, and it is a prequel, but it's like different with the gods and stuff. So it is part of the Divine Rivals series, and I really did not like the Divine Rivals series duology. But Rebecca Ross did say you could read it as a standalone. So it's on the back burner. If I have a bunch of extra time, if I get through everything else, then we will read Wild Reverence, but it's not something that I'm really looking forward to or planning to read, to be honest. Next up is On Wings of Blood, and that was one that we are definitely going to be reading, and actually is probably the one that I'm the most excited about that I hadn't really planned on reading, because we have like 3 different categories. One, I've never heard of it or don't know really anything about it, wasn't really planning on reading it. We have the category of I know about it and I plan to read it. And then obviously I've already read it. So On Wings of Blood falls into the kind of interested, but I didn't really know that much about it, so I wasn't actually going to read this one. But it says Bloodwing Academy, expect competition, expect blood. I didn't sign up for this. A half famous school of Nightblood vampires. Excuse me? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to read that. We're 100% going to read that. So that is definitely high priority. High priority. Enchantra is in the I already own it. I'm going to read it. I was already going to read it anyway. So Enchantra is that one. That's the second in the Phantasma series that's following the sister. Direbound is in the I've heard about it, but I like really wasn't planning to read it category. But I almost bought it at the store yesterday, and then I realized it's on Kindle Unlimited. So again, another one on Kindle Unlimited. That's also a good thing about doing romantasy as a category is most of them are on Kindle Unlimited. So I will be trying to read Direbound. That's like middle tier of the list right now. And we'll also talk about ones that I think are going to make it further because that's also going to be key in this. Company of Lost Tales, I want to read it, I already own it. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, that is lower on my list. But luckily, my library does have a too hot to hold list where they don't, like, you have to physically go to the library to pick it up. You can't put it on hold. You can't have them send it to other libraries. You have to physically go to that location. And my library, my location, only 10 minutes away, has a copy of it. So I'm going to go run and grab that tomorrow morning. So hopefully I can grab that before anybody else, because now that this list is out, people are going to try to read these books. So Mate, I was already going to read, and it's a very high priority. I own a copy. Immortal, I've already read it, 1 star. I'm not reading The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, because I'm actually rereading The Serpent and the Wings of Night for a Did I Really Dislike This Book video, and that first book is going to be in it, so I'm not reading that one, and this is like the third in the series. Red Silver Elite, gave it a 3.75. Bonds of Hercules, I DNF the first one, I have no interest in it. Onyx Storm, gave it a 4 star, thought it was solid. Accomplice of the Villain, high priority, already own it, will be reading it. Night and the Moth is my current winner, 5 stars. The Wrath of the Fallen. So I figured out that this was the Book of Azrael. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the Book of Azrael for this video. I own a copy. I'm really excited. It's high priority. It almost was in the Romantasy vlog. I already just did. Apparently it's turning into a Romantasy channel. Like a 50-50 shot up whether I actually like the Romantasy. We're going to be reading the Book of Azrael. Now, if I like it, I might just try and binge the whole series to get to this one. But that is like probably not going to happen, whatever. Rose in Chains, I am on the fence about. I am on the fence. I have it as a want to read because I added it when I added The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. Oh no, I added it because I added it as part of my, it was around the same time as The Irresistible Urge when I had it for my, what are they called? New release videos. New release videos. I had it in there because, again, didn't know what it was at first. So I know it's a Hermione fan fiction. Irresistible Urge is also a Hermione fan fiction, and Alchemized is already is a Hermione fanfiction. It was the year of the Hermione fanfictions. The more I say Hermione, the less of a word it actually sounds like. I am on the fence if I'm gonna read it for this, because I think my library like has it readily available. Like it's really easy to get a copy of. So I'm just really on the fence because I don't really want to read it. So I don't know, but I did give Irresistible Urge a chance, and I will be reading Alchemized. I know the marketing was a lot different, where Irresistible Urge and Alchemized were not marketed as Hermione's, and Rose in Chains was, and that's where the big disconnect was between all of them. I don't know. I'm on the fence. It is the lowest. It's probably below Wild Reverence, to be honest. So it may be a situation if I try the first chapter. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't feel great about reading that one. So we'll move on and we'll get to that when we get to that. I just because like ethically it's a gray area right now. Because if it wasn't marketed through Harry Potter and calling it Hermione fan fiction, I think it would have been received a lot better like the other two were. So it's just really awkward. So anyway, DNF'd Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, and then I gave Shield of Sparrows a 2 star in that recent Romantasy vlog. So I'll make it in a little bit because I don't really want to make it right now. So I think high priority is definitely on Wings of Blood, Enchantra, Mate, Companion of Lost Tales, Accomplice to the Villain. Those are my like super high priority. I think my highest priority is probably Enchantra because I've been looking forward to reading that one for quite a while. I would say mid-level priority is Direbound. Oh, I keep forgetting this one. Book of Azrael and Our Vicious Oaths are middle. And then low priority is going to be Wild Reverence, Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. And then, did I miss any? No. And then like very bottom tier low is Rose in Chains. So that's kind of the idea right now. I think I'm gonna like go through what my high priority ones are and start there. But it's probably either gonna be Enchantra, Mate, Accomplice to the Villain. It's gonna be one of those. I own them. I want to read them right now. That's the vibe. So anyway, that's a little intro. That's kind of what we're gonna be doing. And I'm kind of excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm also pretty excited about it. Hopefully this vlog goes really, really well and I actually chose the correct category, because probably horror would have been a better choice, but you know, we're here now. It is Monday morning and I'm finally starting this vlog. Ooh, ooh, it's not going well. Like, not that I've DNF'd anything, it's just not going well because I haven't started it yet. So I am going to start with Enchantra. That's kind of what I thought I was going to start with, but I am pretty set on it. I feel like it's going to be the easiest to immediately get through, especially because I'm feeling a little bit fantasy slumpy because of how poorly the last couple books have gone. Pretty much since Quicksilver, I haven't read anything like really that great, because I read Immortal Consequences, which was a 3-star, and then Blood Moon I DNF'd. So I'm not vibing a lot with fantasy. I just really want something to catch my attention like Quicksilver did. Unfortunately, that's not happening. So I think the plan right now is try to get through Enchantra as fast as possible while still enjoying it. Because I will say I'm about 50 pages into Enchantra and I'm not like loving it. And I was a little worried about that because I don't love Genevieve as a character that much. I didn't like her really in the first book. So I'm a little bit nervous because she's really irritating me already. But we're going to try and get through Enchantra and have a fun time with it. And then I think I'm going to try and find Magical Innkeeper. I'm trying to find one of them on audio so I can listen simultaneously, because I got to go to Target today and run a couple of errands, not too many. Ooh, it's windy. I don't know how bad the wind is going to be, and I don't have my microphone. I'm going to run a couple of errands today, not that much stuff, but today and tomorrow, because I gotta go to Target both days, because Target is like our closest reliable store really out here in the woods. So I gotta go run and get like soap and stuff like that. So I gotta go run there, and then tomorrow is Brimstone's release, and I do want to see if I can get the Target exclusive edition, because the thing is, I didn't pre-order it. I had a chance to pre-order it, didn't pre-order it. Now the pre-orders are sold out. I just want to see what it looks like in person, because I'm not like the biggest fan of the design right now online. So I don't even know if I really want to get it. I just want to see it in person, but I don't know if it's going to be an Onyx Storm situation bloodbath where everyone shows up in the morning and tries to buy it. But I haven't heard people freaking out about it. Like, it's not like it was with Onyx Storm where people were like setting 16 alarms to get up at midnight to try and buy it, which is what I did basically. I'm not hearing people acting like that towards this edition of it. So if I find it, I find it. If I don't, I don't. I'm sure it'll be oversaturated at some point on Pango. Anyway, that's kind of the plan, is reading Enchantra. If you don't know, didn't even say what it was about. It is the second book in the Phantasma series, the Wicked Games. Is it Wicked Games series? Second book after Phantasma, and it's following, the first one was following Ophelia. We're going through like the Phantasma game and falling in love with some spirit thing. This one is already different, and I do appreciate how different it is. It's following Genevieve, the younger sister. She went on vacation, but she's really trying to find this guy who had a matching locket to the mom, I think. And he was in like some photographs with the mom. So she's trying to figure out more about her mom's past and her dad's past. So she ends up at their manor, their house, and something weird's going on. It seems like it's going to be another Phantasma-esque sort of game or some sort of competition. It feels a little bit like Ready or Not. I don't know what it is. I think it's because it's a big family all acting like absolute idiots. So I am interested about that. I think there's about to be something's about to happen, I think, and I'm gonna really like it. Like, I think I know what's about to happen, and it's gonna crack me up. So this has the capacity to be better than Phantasma. I had a couple of problems with Phantasma, but I am a little bit nervous right now because Genevieve is driving me nuts. So anyway, we're gonna try to find an audiobook. I didn't love the narrator for Direbound, but I'm also somewhat the least interested in Direbound, so I still might try the audiobook for that one. My Spotify hours and my Everand hours have just, or tickets, whatever they're called, have just been renewed. So I have 3 available audio credits for Everand, and then I think 22 or 20 hours. No, what is it? 30? It might be 30 hours. I don't remember how many I get with the extra. I have the Spotify like audiobook version. So I think it's like 20 something hours or 30 hours. So I have that. So Direbound probably would be better on Everand because it is like 22 hours. That would be a little bit of a waste. So I might try Magical Innkeeping, whatever it's called. Oh no, I just got approved for another NetGalley. Remember how I'm doing that Instagram NetGalley thing? I don't know what this one is. It said the gray something, the GRA. I wonder what that is. I can't open it or it closes this video. But I just got approved for The Caretaker. I just got approved for Japanese Gothic by Guy Lily Baker. And then I got approved for The Thorn Season, which is the second book after The Rose Bargain. And then I just, ooh, that was better. Oh, I'm trying to like block this on, but it's not going well. Then I got approved for something else. So I I put reviews in for the one that I read for the Instagram thing, which was I'm Cleopatra. Then I put reviews in for the Enchanted Greenhouse, which I had both an E-arc and a NetGalley, or what, an E-arc and an ALC for, so that knocked it down to 3. Then I got 4, so I'm at 79. I started at 78. I'm at 79. So I get to do that in a second, because that's what I'm actually going to go film, is go get my next book for that, because I kind of want to post them like every Wednesday, like one a week would be ideal. It's Monday, so I don't really see that happening depending on what I pick, but we'll see. So that's what I'm also going to do next. So I got to go run and go grab some household essentials, and then I guess I'll do the Instagram thing first. Then I'll go grab some household essentials, and I might drop by the library or something on my way out. So that's the plan for today. Read Enchantra, kind of hang out, probably watch Below Deck. I think I'm going to binge Below Deck, and I've seen the first like 3 seasons a lot, so I can read Enchantra while I'm doing that. And I do need to catch up on Mormon Wives. Don't really want to, but that's the plan. I'm already 17% into Magical Guide to Innkeeping, something, Witch's Ink. I don't know, Witch's Magical Guide to Innkeeping, I think is what the book's called. 17% in. I listened to it all this morning while I was running my little errands. I ended up going to get my new favorite thing from little Starbucks. I just got a tall of a caramel brulee latte. I had never tried a latte before, but one of my friends was unable to get like the red cup on red cup day, which I didn't know was a thing. So I ended up going and getting a latte, and I actually really liked it. So now I have a cold drink option, which is the caramel crunch something thing. And then now I have a caramel brulee. Apparently it's just caramel. Anything caramel is something I'm gonna like. And then I also had run my errands this morning and got new soap, and I picked up one of my prescriptions and stuff. So I was able to read for quite a while. I got 17% into this book, and I'm loving it. I am loving every moment. I am cackling. It is so funny. I'm a huge fan. I'm so excited about this. I didn't think, like, this was one that was like lower on my list that I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna read it, but I really don't like reading fantasy as an audiobook, so I was like, okay, well, this is the only good option. Like, cozy fantasy, I am okay with listening to an audiobook. Generally, the only way that I can get through cozy fantasy is through an audiobook, but I'm loving this. This is giving me, like, the X-Hex vibes mixed with the Spell Shop, because the Spell Shop was a little bit too boring, a little too meandery for me, which is why it only got 4 stars. Spell Shop still had moments where it was just a little slow, everyday kind of stuff, and I'm very meh about that, unless it's like there's gotta be some sort of mystery or some like real point to the book. And the Spell Shop had a little bit of that, but the Spell Shop really sold me because I really liked the characters and I liked the little village on the island. This, we got a goal. We have a goal. We have a thing that's happening. I'm loving the characters. I'm loving the dynamics. It's so fun, and it's funny. That's the key, is this book is so funny, and that's something I struggle with a lot in cozy fantasy, is I just don't find the humor funny. And in this one, yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time. Again, like I said, it's reminding me a little bit of like the X-Hex mixed with my favorite parts of the Spell Shop. So having a great time. It's following our main character, who is a exiled witch, and she had cast a spell and it caused her magic to become depleted. So the whole point of this book is she is running this magical inn with her, I don't actually remember what is she an aunt? It's not her parents. Someone who's taking care of her, Jasmine. And there's also like other people that are at this inn. There's even a kid that I actually even like too. It's so funny how they've like used all the different characters so far. And so yeah, we're just trying to find her magic. We're trying to figure out how we're able to do that, since she is exiled and she needs property of the people that have exiled to actually find her magic back. And it's also, I think, going to hopefully be like taking down the system kind of thing, because it does seem a little bit corrupt. So yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm having a fantastic time with this book. I never expected that. Right now, I don't see why this wouldn't be a 5-star so far. But we'll see. We'll see. I am only 17% of this book, but I am so hype. I'm so hype. I'm going to listen to this the rest of the day. Probably work on some editing and some rearranging shelves and stuff and cleaning, and I'll just read this the rest of the day. Oh, you know what? I need to paint. I should probably go inside and paint. I don't want to, but I should. And this book is really entertaining, so I might be able to do that. So we might be painting today, but we'll see. That'll be in like my other vlog that I'm still working on since back in May of creating the library.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean that this is the book that I had no expectations for? What do you mean this is the book that was at the bottom of the list, one above Wild Reverence, of thinking I wouldn't even get to this book? Like, what do you mean that this was the book that I thought I would dislike and probably DNF out of all the books that I have to read? What do you mean that I cried through half of this book because the emotional warfare that went on this? I feel like I have been personally attacked in this book. Oh my god. So if you couldn't guess, this was 5 stars. This was 5 stars. This is top 10 of the year. This potentially is favorite of the year. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like maybe that's what makes it so good, is it was so unexpected. So I'm trying to think of my top couple books. I have First Time Caller as my first right now, and I read that a really long time ago and it's still holding out as number one. I also read Night in the Moth and Quicksilver are kind of tied for number two. I think this definitely beats those. So those would kind of slide down to tied for third. This is at least second, if not first place. Yeah, that's where we're at with this. That's where we're at this. I'm gonna look at my whole list, but just knowing that's my top three, yeah, no, this was better. This was better. This emotional damage, absolute emotional damage reading this book. This was amazing. I have nothing other than fantastic things to say about this. I will say, the end was a little bittersweet. I do wish it had ended a little bit differently. However, I think the ending makes sense for what the rest of the book was. I mean, this is a journey of self-discovery. This is the most found family book I have ever read. I loved every character. Every character had a purpose. Every character was unique. I'm obsessed with every single person in this book and the relationships. This book started with a bang, like immediately was like, yes, this is what this is. And then it just got emotional and it was so funny. This book was so funny. So if you're somebody who isn't sure about the cozy fantasy genre, because it is not something that I like, I am not generally a cozy fantasy fan, this has made me question everything, because this is cozy fantasy. There was just something so magical about this, and I think the humor was a big thing. I feel like a lot of times when I read cozy fantasy, the humor is very dry, and it's like quirky humor, and there was something about this that was just legitimately super funny. I feel like it takes the humor of a rom-com and translates it and like puts it into a cozy fantasy, and that's what I want. I love the humor in rom-coms. I think it's so funny. I love it because this does feel a little rom-com-y with very light romance, which is where I get to my problem. This isn't romantasy. No, this isn't romantasy. This should have been in the fantasy category, and I'm really disappointed this wasn't in the fantasy category. I would have voted for this hands down, like now, obviously, like, and go and change my vote. Well, actually, I don't even know did I vote for anything in fantasy? I don't think I even voted for anything in fantasy. This has no business being in the romantasy category. This isn't romantasy. It's not romantasy. This is fantasy. This is cozy fantasy. So I'm starting to think that if cozy fantasy continues being so popular, it probably should have its own genre. Like the Travis Baldree would have been in there. This would have been in there. There's a bunch of other cozy fantasies that came out, and it's just such a popular genre right now. I don't understand why it doesn't have its own category, but they also got rid of middle grade, so they don't really know what they're doing at Goodreads. So there should be a cozy fantasy category. However, there isn't. This should be in fantasy. And that's what I'm thinking about my vote, because I do like this better. However, I don't think this is romantasy. So I feel like it shouldn't win because it's not romantasy. So that's what I'm struggling with right now, because I would go and change my vote right away, because this book is phenomenal. Like, it's so good. It does touch on depression, which I was not expecting. This is probably the best representation of, and it's not the whole book, it's like 2 little sections, but the way that she writes about depression, the quotes from it, they take me out. Because it's so accurate. There's like 4 lines that really like stick out, and it's like, oh, like you definitely have been depressed. Like, you have definitely felt it, potentially in a similar way that I have. And I think that's one of the reasons I vibe with it so much, besides all the characters and everything, everything else that was going on. But yeah, that is what I'm struggling with because this arguably is significantly better of a book. I like this book more. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do because I don't think this is romantasy. So I'm gonna have to think about it if I want to vote for my favorite romantasy book. If I want to vote for my favorite book in the category that was nominated, then I would vote for this one. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And maybe I'll like one more later that's more romancy, and then this is moot. But we're starting off the video with a unexpected 5 star. But we are gonna continue on in Enchantra. I have not continued at all because all I did today, because it's the same day. It's the same day. I finished it in one day. Just listened starting in the morning and just kept listening to it all day. I sat and played iPhone games, and that's all I've done today. And I've just listened to the book. I don't do that. I get bored really easily. I start going to watch other things. I'm rewatching Below Deck right now. I could be watching Below Deck, and I chose to read this book instead. If that is not a glowing recommendation, I have no idea what is. Okay, so don't know what I'm gonna do, but we're gonna move on to Enchantra. And I was looking at some of the other books, and I am a little bit nervous because I was looking at Our Vicious Oaths as potentially next, but I don't love the synopsis of that one. I do think it's more on the darker fantasy side of things, romantasy. So I'm a little nervous. We're obviously still going to try it, but I am a little bit nervous about that one. Book of Azrael is also the same. However, the way people have talked about that one says it's not that much dark romantasy, but I don't know. Those two are the two that probably are making me now that I've like reoriented myself, because originally I was going to say the two that I thought I wouldn't like would be Wild Reverence and A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. Now kind of readjusting. Wild Reverence is still on there just because of track record right now with Rebecca Ross, but it's that one and now Our Vicious Oaths and the Book of Azrael because of the dark romance aspect of those two. So we still have those. What else? What else do I have? What else? Enchantra, Mate. Ooh, I'm excited to read Mate. We have Mate to read. What other ones? I don't know why I think I can remember the whole category, but we're gonna continue with Enchantra. I think Enchantra is very, very different from this book. So this book was like a really nice palette cleanser between more romantasy type books because like I said, I just read Immortal Consequences and Blood Moon. And so reading something that has like the writing and Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeep, amazing. The writing is so good. I think it was kind of a nice palette cleanser because like the writing in Enchantra, it's nothing to write home about. It's fine. It is just a fun ride. So I think it was nice having something that made me think a little bit more and kind of touch on deeper emotions a little bit since I haven't been having that with books. So I think that was kind of nice. I feel refreshed and I feel like I'm ready to jump into Enchanter now.
I just want to let you know that I was not recording on this entire time. But because I'm recording on my phone, I have the backup. So you're going to hear the iPhone sound with me waving this around like a psychopath. I'm still getting used to this guys. Like it's still not natural. Anyway, like I was saying, more appropriate in here. I don't know what background noise you're going to hear. I was kind of ignoring it cuz this was going to filter it out. I don't know. I don't know. So that was crazy. That's really funny. Honestly, that is really, really funny and on par for me. So that beginning clip was just iPhone. This was just a prop. Just a prop. It was on. It just wasn't recording. And I saw it. I turned this way and it was not red. And I was like, that's rude. That's so rude. And the clip was so long, I can't redo it. I'm gonna try and buy Brimstone tonight, and we're gonna continue reading Enchantra. I think I'm really in the mood to continue reading because of how much I love this book. So the vibes are good. I'm feeling it right now. I think we just continue rolling with these books. So I will give you an update on Enchantra when I get probably to about halfway through and potentially update you on anything else that I pick up because I do want to listen to another audiobook. I just don't know if there's anything in the list that I think would be good for an audiobook. So I'm gonna test them out, but we'll see. Maybe I'll check out if Our Vicious Oaths has one or potentially see Dire. No, I didn't like Dire Bounds. So I'm gonna look at the other ones that they have and see if there's any that strike my fancy. Otherwise, we're reading with the eyeballs. So, ooh, I gotta show you the book. Like I gotta put you down. I thought I was gonna hold it like this, but I don't think I can. This is going poorly already. Oh no. Okay. This terrible angle. I keep coming back to this angle and I've had my hood on. Let's put my hood on so I look less crazy. Will I look less crazy or I don't know if this is better or not. I think it's a little better. The flyaways drive me nuts, and I had the hood on the whole time, so when I took the hood off, the flyaways kinda went. Enchantra. We are 27. I'm on chapter 14. I'm on the ring. To be honest to be honest, I'm having a horrible time. I'm having I'm having a really bad time with this book. I'm really not enjoying this. I don't like the main character at all, and I'm really confused because I feel like I don't know if I'm hallucinating this, but I feel like I really liked Genevieve in the last book. Did I? I don't remember. Like, I legitimately cannot remember if I liked her or not. I'm not liking her anymore. I actually cannot stand her. She consistently is making everything so much harder for everybody else when she was the one who got herself into the situation in the first place. Like, they warned her not to come into the house. They warned her away multiple times, and she just refused to take that as an answer. She literally broke into this person's house using her abilities and didn't expect anything weird to happen. What a concept. What a concept that you are being held accountable for breaking into someone's house. Amazing. Amazing that you were told to leave and you said, "No, I'm gonna shift through your door and I'm gonna hang out and just walk around your house." Totally normal behavior. So, the definition of FAFO, she effed around and found out. She did, very much so. So, she is now doing her thing. I was about to say what happened, but this is spoiler free. I can't stand her. I don't really feel there's also, like, immediately a ton of sexual tension between the 2 main characters, which is not my vibe in a book. There needs to be a lot more lead up to that, even just, like, plot-wise, because in Quicksilver, using Quicksilver as an example of everything because it is a romantasy book that I loved. And again, similar with Night and Moth as well. There is well, Night and Moth's a little bit different. So Quicksilver has a pretty big introduction before we ever meet Kingfisher. So we have a lot of time to get to know our main character and what she's doing and kind of the point of this book before we actually meet Kingfisher. She's immediately attracted, well, there's a thing that happens, but later when she like meets him when she's conscious, she is aware of his attractiveness, but it's in like a it's not like a really annoying way. How it's done in this is we barely had any time to really get to know Genevieve in this book as a main character, and immediately this dude is introduced and god, the names are terrible. The names are so bad. What is it? Gavington, Covington, Ellington, Rowington. Stop. Remington is another one. Stop. It's so bad. It's bad. I hate it. I hate the names. I hate them so much. So, it's just, like, immediately throwing you in and, like, she's immediately turned on by everything he does. And it's just giving me the absolute ick. And she's so mean. She's so mean to everybody when she's the one who got herself into this situation. That is what is driving me crazy, is she is making everyone's life hell because she effed around and found out. So everything is everyone else's fault. She is making everyone else miserable because she can't listen. She literally cannot listen. This is not your home. And yeah, it's just I can't do it. So I think I'm gonna put it down for now. I don't know if I'll again, it's like Katabasis where I said I was putting it down and then I read another 70 pages. So I could read more of it. I don't know, but for right now, I think I am gonna move on to the next book because I don't have time to sit here and go, "Do I like it? Do I not like it?" I can do that after this video. If I really wanna try and finish this book, I can read it later. But right now, I mean, it's definitely not gonna beat The Night and the Moth or Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. There's 0 chance. There is no way that this gets better to a point that right now I'm sitting at a 1 star. There's no way it's suddenly gonna be a 5 star when I'm already what did I say? How many pages? 115 pages in, probably more than that now. So, there's just no way. And the point of this video is to see if I think there is something better when I've read everything basically available. So, that being said, we are gonna put Enchantra aside, and I'm really sad because I like Phantasma, so I had really, really high hopes for this. So, we're gonna put Enchantra aside and move on. I think what I want to move on to is On Wings of Blood. I wanna move on to that because the 2nd book, Fancy Edition, came out today. I personally, if I do like On Wings of Blood, my thing is there is a Target exclusive edition coming out in a couple months, I think, so that would be the edition that I get, so I did not get a physical copy of this. I'm gonna read this Kindle Unlimited, but the second book in a very nice edition did just come out. So I would actually go get the second book if I love this first book. So I think it'll be fun to see if I actually like this one. I have pretty like high hopes for this one. It's gotten like an academy. What is it? The Blood something Academy. I think that sounds pretty cool. I like an academy. So I kind of am just hoping for like a fun time and we're not insta attracted or like just like insta into them. Just really want them. I just want a fun main character. I want a main character I'm rooting for who's not making me want to like rip my eyeballs out. Like that's the point that's how much I was hating Genevieve in Enchantress. So we're gonna move to of On Wings of Blood, that one. And hopefully it is a lot better than Enchantra. Do you know what's crazy? The fact that On Wings of Blood is a book that exists in this world. That's so mean. That's so mean, but oh my god, was that painful. So like I said, I DNF'd Enchantra about that. I'll get to that in a second. So I decided to move on to On Wings of Blood because it's like an academy and it sounds really cool. It's fae and vampires, everything that I love in a book. Um, what? What was that? Like, actually, what was that? That was some of the worst writing, some of the worst plotting, some of the I didn't even get that far into it. I think I got 10 pages. I got 10 pages into that before I was cringing so badly that I could not continue. Like, there's a lot of things that I, like, stop reading and I'm like, "Oh, I could go back to that. I could like that." No. This was actually really painful and I'm very confused. There's you guys know, sometimes I get really confused about if a book is good. If you do like this book, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I like trash. I like trash sometimes. Silver Elite, not good. But this, I couldn't get past page 10. But, I mean, Silver Elite could be the same for other people. So, I'm not saying anything about anyone if they like this book. Like, that's not saying anything about them. I personally just thought this was one of the worst things I've read all year. Just in 10 pages. Yeah, it just needed a lot of editing. It needed a lot of editing, and the way it started, which just already was like, "Oh, this is not gonna be the book for me." And I didn't realize it was like a bully romance, and that is also not really my vibe much. And it even said like dark romance, so now I'm like, "Hmm, did I choose the wrong category to read for the Goodreads video?" Starting to get nervous. Starting to get nervous. I went back to Enchantra. Because of how much I hated On Wings of Blood, I DNF'd On Wings of Blood, I'm not going back to that book. Because of how much I hated On Wings of Blood, I went back to Enchantra, kind of having a good time now. I feel like I am being forced into liking Enchantra because of how much I despise On Wings of Blood, so we'll see. I'm gonna give it through the competition, like, I'm gonna let the competition start if I'm just a little bored. Like, that's what I keep like, I hate the main character in Enchantra, and I'm just bored. So, I'm gonna continue reading it for tonight, probably. My copy of Brimstone arrived, so I'd rather do that, but I promised myself I would get through one more book for this video before I started Brimstone. And it's necessary. Like, we got a lot still to get through. So, we're gonna continue to read Enchantra tonight. I mean, I could probably finish the whole thing tonight. We'll see. I'm between DNFing it and continuing at this point because it's just looking real good after On Wings of Blood. So, anyway, that's the update. I'm gonna continue reading, and I'll let you know what I think about it, or if I continue reading it. Very quick, very quiet, because it's very early outside, and I don't know if well, I doubt my neighbors are awake, but I feel like I live on the moors right now. Like, look at that. Like, that's crazy looking. Yeah, it's like super foggy. It looks crazy outside. I got to 62% of Enchantra. It's fine. It exists. I wouldn't have missed anything if I didn't pick it back up. So I am gonna finish it just because it's easy. I do think it's gotten significantly better now. Oh my gosh, my air conditioner or my heating might just turn on right next to me. I think it's gotten a lot better since we actually started the ready or not part. I'm gonna move because that's gonna be really loud. I think it got significantly better ever since we started the ready or not aspect of things. But it's still a lot of just like moving rooms and like going to different rooms and hiding and then playing truth or dare. So it's not like super interesting. It's not particularly interesting. So it's just fine. It's just fine. I think Phantasma was way more interesting. I think the characters in Phantasma were way more interesting. I still don't like Genevieve. She's better. I still don't like her. And then I have zero feelings about Rowan. I don't care. I actually really like Seven. He's actually way more fun. So, but he's not the main character. Trying to track my dog down. I finally found him. He likes to like roam my whole property, and he has started to, well, he used to not roam it. He used to stay within like these borders. Now he's figured out he can roam the property, so we're gonna have to figure things out with him, because he can't be doing this during the summer, because during tick season. So during the winter it's fine, he can do whatever he wants, but during like snake and tick season, can't let him roam as much. Yeah, that's kind of like the only update I have, because it just exists. And I think I'm gonna start Accomplice to the Villain next. I did read 2 recaps of Assistant, and because originally I was gonna reread them, but I don't like rereading stuff, so I'm glad I found these recaps. So I read a recap for Assistant to the Villain and Accomplice to the Villain, and we are going to start, not Accomplice to the Villain, Assistant to the Villain and Apprentice to the Villain, and now we're gonna start the 3rd book, Accomplice to the Villain, and I'm pretty excited about it. I want to read Brimstone, but I really need to finish these 2 books first, and then I can read Brimstone. Also, it's my birthday today. It's the 19th. So I think what we're gonna do today, I don't really like doing stuff for my birthday. I just like having, oh, there he is. I just like having like, we get like takeout, which is what I prefer to do, and watch like a movie and eat some sort of sugary confection, and that is my birthday. I think I'm gonna go out and get Starbucks this morning, maybe go to the library, maybe go to the bookstore, get like a singular book. I've already spent my book budget this month, so don't need to be doing that. I think I want to go get Starbucks, so I think that'll be fun. So anyway, that's the update. I'm gonna go finish Enchantra, and I will let you know what I think about it. So, one of my Starbucks run I was not gonna get this size, but then I realized I have a whole readathon and TBR to plan the video and film today. So got the grande for my birthday and for the planning, because I gotta go collect all those books, because it's a lot of prompts. That's what I'm gonna be doing today. Probably that and listening and watching K-pop Demon Hunters, and also probably watching Below Deck. I think I want to binge through a lot of Below Deck today. So video, K-pop Demon Hunters, and Below Deck. Good plan. Good birthday, good plan. That being said, let's talk about Enchantra. Editing me is gonna be really mad, because now she has to pop up Enchantra in the corner because I'm in my car and obviously don't have the book with me. So yeah, she's not gonna be happy, but reading me, current me, is less happy, because I'm giving Enchantra a 2.5. To be honest, didn't really need to continue it. I'm kind of glad, though, I did, because there is going to be a 3rd book. Like, it was very obvious there was going to be a 3rd book at the end of that one. I have no idea who it's going to follow, but, like, it could follow Genevieve again, because we didn't, like, completely solve everything from her story. I'm kind of confused, because nothing is resolved. Like, we didn't resolve, like, the biggest problem in this book. I also just sneezed, and my hand is full, so I cannot fix my hair. So I'm just gonna look like this for the rest of this little clip. It's only gonna be a second, though, because I'm getting warm. But yeah, honestly, it just didn't get any better. I thought for a minute I was gonna give it a 3 stars, and then they did this thing at the end that I didn't like. They fixed it pretty fast, but I just don't like when it's done ever in books. And so I had to deduct points back down to a 2.5. So it is gonna be a 2.5. I could have not read it. I could have read it. I feel no different either way. Again, I guess I am leaning towards more happy that I read it because of the 3rd book, and potentially maybe the 3rd book will feel more like Phantasma. I honestly think what this one comes down to is I hated Genevieve. I really, really hated Genevieve as a character. And it's interesting, because I appreciate the author trying to write a different type of main girl. A different type of main girl who is more girly girl, who is more kind of what misogynistic men think of women. Like, Genevieve would be that girl who would go stand in line for one of those Starbucks bear cups, not because she wanted it, but to show everybody else that she got it. That's the type of girl that Genevieve is. So I appreciate trying that, because as we live in a very misogynistic culture, women are looked down on somewhat when they like cute things and girly things. Appreciate her trying to write a different type of main character instead of, I mean, you always, it's the I'm not like other girls. I feel like most books are I'm not like other girls. I'm more of like a tomboy. I'm a ruler ball. Genevieve is none of those things. She's none of those things. So I appreciated that aspect of her. I did. The part that I didn't like was how bratty she was and how not practical she was the whole book. Like, he was trying to give a ring to her for purposes, for safety reasons, and she was like, ew, it's ugly. Do you know who she is? She's Caroline from the Vampire Diaries. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, she is Caroline. If you've ever watched the Vampire Diaries and you know Caroline from, like, at least the first season, not like later seasons, first and second season, is Genevieve. And I don't like Caroline. Just from like her bratty behavior. I don't care about her liking the sparkly things. I don't care about her wanting to be very girly girl. I'm totally fine with that. I don't like the brattiness and the selfishness and the impracticality of everything in her nature, including moments where she's supposed to be surviving. She does not think about survival. She thinks of what she wants in that moment. That's what I don't like about Genevieve. So unfortunately, that's really what killed the book for me is, oh my gosh, she was unbearable to listen to, and she was just doing the dumbest things, and it was very frustrating. I also thought that the rooms, because it was basically a giant game of like hide and seek, it was the whole time, and there's like 6 or 7 rounds. I thought the Phantasma games were a lot better. The competitive nature of that was a lot better. I liked the first 2 floors in this one, but it quickly got old, them constantly hiding in different rooms. However, that was the best part of the book. If the book started sooner with those trial or with the competition and the rounds of the hunt, probably would be closer to a 3 or 3.5. But because the beginning dragged so much and you had to deal with Genevieve being an absolute brat, because she did get better towards the later half of the book. But I quit. I mean, you guys saw me DNF it because she was unbearable. So if they had just toned her brattiness down a little bit, like, again, I don't care if she likes the sparkly things, the pretty things, that is totally fine. I like reading from a more girly girl perspective because it is different than the normal fantasy girly. I just couldn't take the brattiness. So if they toned the brattiness down and got into the games quicker and had less, there was a lot more sex in this one, and it happened way earlier. So if the sex had been moved towards the latter half of the book and we started the game sooner, this could have been closer to a 3.5, closer to what Phantasma was. But this did a bunch of things that I did not like, and therefore it's a 2.5. Literally middle of the road, more leaning towards didn't like. So that being said, we are moving on to Accomplice to the Villain, and hopefully we'll get through that pretty fast. I remember reading those pretty quickly because they're very addicting and they're shortest chapters on the planet. So the room that I normally film in is going to be occupied. So anyway, that's the update. Let's go try to start Accomplice to the Villain and do all the things that I gotta do today.
My dog decided to wake me up pretty early, hence why my face looks like this. So my hair's looking crazy, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because I literally just woke up. Maybe I slept on it weird. Anyway, I originally filmed this. I like, look at it. It looks weird. I don't know what's going on. I originally filmed this. When did I film this? Like, it looks like I'm balding. I swear I'm not. My hair is very, very thin. It's always been very, very thin. And depending on what angle and what, like, lighting, my hair has always looked like I'm balding right here. Like, it just always has. It has always had this issue. I don't know why, but apparently it's, like, extra bad this morning. And I'm, like, looking like I'm giving myself a comb over right now. Anyway, no, see, like, look. It's just gonna be one of those days, isn't it? It's gonna be one of those days. Let me do this. Let me. This is better. This is better right now. I don't know why it's being so difficult. Anyway, I actually originally already filmed this. I already filmed this update for Direbound, and I was making absolutely no sense. And I think it's because I was really trying to not give any spoilers, like no semblance of any spoilers. And it's impossible. Like, it's actually impossible to talk about this book and what I felt about it without giving very vague ideas, because there are comps for this book, but one of the comps is a little bit of like a very vague romance spoiler. So I'm gonna put a spoiler warning up, or a little bit. It's not actually going to be spoilers. It is just going to be talking about the romance in a way that will give some information away. If you read like 3 chapters of this book, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not actually a spoiler, but if you want to go into this knowing zero, nothing, absolutely nothing, even though I think the synopsis kind of gives it away too, I just want to put that little spoiler up there. So not really spoilers, but because the comp does give an idea of what happens, I will put spoilers up for a second. So very vaguely right now, without talking about that specific comp, let's talk about Diarybound. I have finished Diarybound. I finished it last night, like I said. I am going to settle. I've given myself more time to think about this too, because that was also the thing I was struggling with, was rating this book, because I love it. I love it, and I'm having such a hard time rating it, and I think that means I need to just give it a 5-star, because I am very reluctant to give it a 4.5, which I think I probably should give it. But my enjoyment of this book was 5. Like, I would reread this and have a fantastic time. And I've said it before, I don't reread books. It's not something I do. So the fact that I would reread this now, like I would repick this up right now and reread it. This is going to be at the top of my list for looking forward to the sequels of this book, like the next sequel's coming out next year. I feel like I have to give it a 5-star because of those feelings. But I will tell you, it's a lower 5-star. If it is on my favorites list, it'll be the bottom half, or it'll be in honorable mentions, just because there are some problems with it. There are definitely some more glaring issues than there were in like Quicksilver. Quicksilver is the closest thing I can think about, like, to comp this to writing style and kind of, I think, how it was kind of published, because I think both were originally Kindle Unlimited, or I mean, I think you can read both of them on Kindle Unlimited right now, but I think they were like indie published first, and then they both were picked up by big publishers, and now they're in bookstores and stuff like that, and they're all getting the special editions, the re-releases, whatever. So that's the closest to the journey of this book, and I do think Quicksilver is a more polished, finished book as a whole, and we're gonna talk about that. Now, the one comp for this, because like again, I don't think I really talked about this book. The one comp for this that doesn't give anything away is Fourth Wing. So I went into this thinking this was a werewolf book. I don't know why. I didn't think I would like this. I didn't originally have a copy of this book. I actually went out and got it this about 60% in, and I gotta say, real nice, very happy about it. Really pissed off that I didn't get the Fairy Loot edition, because again, I thought it was werewolves, so I didn't bother ordering it. I'm really mad about it. Really, really mad about it. So I'm gonna be on the lookout when that comes out, or if they do like a restock. I really, fingers crossed, hope they do a restock. So anyway, like I said, 5-star. This is like Fourth Wing. This is Fourth Wing. I'm trying to make sure I don't give anything away, because I want to say the comp for the romance so badly, because the romance is not, well, it's a little bit like Fourth Wing, kind of. I feel like every book is a little bit like what's happening in this book, which I appreciate, because I do like generally the idea of what this was doing. I just don't think it was executed as well as it needed to be, and I have thoughts about that as well. So this is following our main character Marion, and she is common born, and she ends up joining the military for reasons. And in the military, there are basically normal soldiers and there are bonded, and obviously the whole book is about the bonded soldiers, and they bond to these things called direwolves. The direwolves they're so cool. They're so cool. They're very much like the dragons. They are so cool, so interesting, and there's like a lot of political intrigue going on. There's espionage, there's obviously the romance, there's twists and turns, and I really appreciated that. I appreciated that there was so much going on, because again, it's 570 pages. If you're gonna be that long, you gotta keep me entertained, and it did. At no point, well, towards about 350 page about 350 400, did start getting a little bit of fatigue, but I feel like that's normal for a book this long. I got a little bit of fatigue in the middle of Quicksilver as well, and you guys know how much I love that book. So I think this was fantastic. I love the world building, the characters, everything. It was just so interesting. I think it is not the most original book, because again, I do think it follows a lot of the main points that Fourth Wing hits. It does feel like this is I love Fourth Wing, but I like wolves better than dragons kind of thing. I think this book was potentially more brutal than Fourth Wing was. Fourth Wing was pretty brutal. This, I think Fourth Wing was more emotionally brutal. This one is just in general more bloody and brutal for what goes on. I do like the romance way better in Fourth Wing. I do have a lot of issues with the romance in this. That's where probably one of my biggest issues lies. Because of the comp that I'll give to this, the romance just doesn't work that well for me. I think the author spent too much time on one character and not enough time on another character. And that's okay. Like, even not spending enough time on one character, that's okay. That worked in the comp that I'm gonna give, but it didn't work to spend that much time specifically what they were doing with the other character. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense right now. If you listen through the little vague spoilers of the comp, you'll get what I mean. And again, I don't think it is a spoiler. Let's see, does the back say it? I want to see if the back says it. Everything is a competition, everyone's out to get her. Everyone except the dangerously handsome crown prince, whose attention adds another target to her back. In the castle, every smile hides a knife, and the halls hide dark secrets. It is kind of a secret. Wait, no, it's not. The other trainees would love to spill her common blood, and her cold and beautiful instructor, Stark Therian, is eager to punish any weaknesses. So you know there's two romantic interests. That's not a spoiler. That's on there. So there's one you know which one she's gonna end up with. I'm just gonna say that. You know she's gonna end up with one of them. If you've read any fantasy book, you know she's gonna end up with one of them specifically. You know who it is. And so you're trying to figure out like what's going on with that relationship the whole time. However, she is having sex, rampant sex, with the romantic interest that you know she's not going to end up with. It's based on like what happens. Like, I feel like it's really obvious the amount of sex that she has with this character. It's like, oh yeah, no, they're not endgame. And it's like shoved in your face. It's like, you get sick of this character, and I don't think that was intentional, but I don't think, okay, I have a problem with books this spicy. It's a personal preference. I'm not going to say whether it's bad, whether it's good. I do have a bit of a critique for it, but if you love this amount of spice in your books, I'm not saying that is bad. I'm not saying it's bad for you. It doesn't work for me, but I know it works for a lot of people. I know a lot of people like to just jump right into the spice, and that's how they like their books. So that being said, I'm not saying it's bad either way. It does, to me, feel a little bit like fan service to TikTok. A little bit. I don't know when this was written. This could have been written before TikTok, and that's jokes on me. However, this feels like the author was afraid that people would not want to read the book if there was no sex in it. Because for the purposes of the book, the sex in it is important, but not to the extent that it is in this book. I think I skimmed, because I don't really read spicy scenes. I read for plot. So I skipped them. I kind of skim them, very much skim them, and figure out when the beginning and the end is, and make sure I don't miss any like context within. There was no context within any of these happening, unfortunately, because at least there would be like a reason or something. Like Fourth Wing had a reason for some of the scenes. There were little tidbits she threw in there, which was crazy. But this, I think I skipped like 100 pages of this book because of the sex scenes. It was very A Court of Silver Flames. Like, do you remember how much sex was in A Court of Silver Flames? Very similar, and they were long, graphic scenes. So if you don't like that, I still would give this a shot, because it's very easy to skip the scenes without missing anything, and there's so much book that there is more plot than there is spice. It's too much, and it really did feel like she wrote the book, and some of the sex scenes made sense. I don't love them, but they made sense. Some of them felt like she had written the book and then went back and added more. They were so random. Other things would be happening, and they would just kind of just appear. And you're like, I don't like it. There's one that made a lot of sense. And that's really like, you could have had that one and one at the beginning and been like, okay, we're good. Like, we get it. And you could have had a bunch of like fade to black moments. Like, ooh, this person was in my room and the rest of the night was good, whatever. I don't know. But it just didn't need as many graphic scenes. And I do think it did take away from the plot. But again, that is my personal preference. If you do prefer a book with more sex scenes, that's also fine. But felt a little weird, felt a little strange, and which is why I kind of wanted to bring it down to a 4.5. The other issue that I had with, see, I just explained it without using the comp. So I think I'm good. I don't think I need to talk about the comp. Okay. I somehow got around it. Somehow got around it. Anyway, my other issue was one of the twists. One of the decisions that the direwolves make. I don't really buy it, and I think that hurts the end of the book. I think it was too abrupt. I think it was a second book thing. I think it was too not believable to stick in this book. Like, I think, ugh, yeah, honestly, the whole back half of the book felt like it should have been in a second book and led up to even more, because it's such a massive, insane reveal that I didn't 100% buy it, either one of them, like the direwolf decision, and then if you've read this, you know what I'm talking about, the later reveal, the massive, the major reveal in this book. I had a feeling it was going to happen because they were hinting at it even from the beginning, but I do think it needed even more lead up, like even more. I also don't like the romance at the end. I like the twist that happened with one of the characters. The person that she's supposed to end up with, though, I don't love how the romance was done. It feels a little forced, and I didn't want that. I think they could have left them alone for the whole book, had just moments, because the moments between them were great. The tension between them was great, but then when it like got to the end and it kind of rushed, it really rushed the ending. Didn't feel like the ending knew what it kind of wanted to do because there was just too much stuff happening. So if you had held the major reveal at the end of this, there was a point this book could have ended. There's a point this book could have ended, and I think it would have been a great cut there. And then you open the next book and kind of figure out stuff in the next book and draw it out and do stuff. And then at the end of the next book, have both the romance and that massive reveal. I just think it was too rushed into this one. But all that being said, I still loved it. I still loved it. Not to the extent of Quicksilver, not to the extent of like The Night and the Moth. This is not better than Night and the Moth. It's not. So I'm gonna keep my vote Night and the Moth. I'm definitely, so I talked about it and I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. I'm not voting for A Magical Innkeeping God. I would have voted for it if it was in fantasy. But for the romantasy category, I want to vote for a romantasy. And that being said, I'm probably not gonna read Emily Wilde 3 because I don't think those are romantasies. That's a personal preference. I do not see them as romantasy books, so I would not vote for it. And the point of this video is to figure out my order of romantasy books, not just order of books they threw in there. So I think, because I am on a crunch time, I am on a massive crunch time. So I think originally I was going to try to read the Book of Azrael because it's the fifth book or fourth book of that series is what's in the category. But I think I'm going to skip Book of Azrael because I just don't have time. I think I'm not going to read Emily Wilde's because I don't think it's a romantasy book. And so I'm going to stick to, which I don't think Mate is too. I think Mate should be, well, it's paranormal romance, which isn't exactly romantasy. Ugh. See, then you start getting into like complicated situations. Mate to me should be in the romance category as well. I don't think Mate should be in romantasy either. So I will hold on that one. I am more apt to be okay with voting for Mate though. So I think I'm going to hold off on Mate until last. That way, if I don't have time to read it, I don't feel as bad because I don't really think it either belongs in this category either. I do think it more belongs in there. And like I said, I wouldn't mind voting for that one. I know I would never vote for Emily Wilde's in this category. I think it should be fantasy. Okay, so I think we're going to move on to Accomplice to the Villain next. I think that's what I'm feeling. The other reason I don't really want to read Emily Wilde's is I remember nothing about book 2, and I tried to read a synopsis of book 2. And oh my god, what is going on? This is why I had my hat on. I think the other reason that I don't really want to read Emily Wilde's, and I'm almost coming up with reasons not to read it, is because I don't remember the second book at all. And I read a synopsis for the second book, and it's giving me nothing. It's giving me nothing. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to read it. I just don't. And I loved the first book. Second book I gave us 3 stars, I think. Yeah, I gave the second book 3 stars. So I want to reread them. I want to reread them before I go into the third book and just like give it an actual shot. Because if I read it right now, I don't know if it's gonna go well. So I think I'm gonna skip Emily Wiles. If I for some reason have a ton of time, somehow doubt it. If I start DNFing stuff left and right, if I have a ton of time, I will go back to it, but probably not. So next, I think, like I said, we're gonna do Accomplice of the Villain. We also have Our Vicious Oaths. So I could start that one. And Wild Reverence. My copy of Wild Reverence is somewhere. I'm hoping it gets here before Wednesday. Then I might do audiobook for Wild Reverence, to be honest, so we might check that out. I'm not the most excited about that one. That's the plan. Yeah, we're gonna do Accomplice to the Villain or Our Vicious Oaths.
I'm really surprised actually about what I'm about to tell you, but it's like the next day. It's late in the day. I haven't read like anything today. I am DNFing Our Vicious Oaths. I originally, again, thought I was gonna start with the Confidence of the Villain, but I was not feeling physically holding a book today. I'm not feeling the best today. So I decided to try Our Vicious Oaths, and I really don't like it. It's unfortunately more of what people kind of think romantasy is about. So, like, I feel like romantasy is a super wide genre where a lot of people just think it's a lot of smut and no plot, and that's not exactly what romantasy is. There's like a lot of different types of romantasy, just like there's a lot of different types of romance, a lot of different types of young adult fantasy. There's different types of things within each genre, and romantasy definitely ranges from very, very, very spicy with zero plot to still kind of spicy, I feel like, or at least the romance is the main point before the actual plot fantasy is. So personally, for me, this is in line with more spice. Well, there is like a plot. There is a plot, but I don't think it's necessarily the point of the book. And there is a lot of immediate sexual things happening. It's already not my vibe at all, and I don't think it's not gonna be a book I'm gonna rate well. And that I really try to not finish books that I think are not gonna be for me. So this is one of those books that you just, like, can't skip over any of the spice, or if you skipped over all the spice, it would be, like, 90% of the book, it seems like, so far at least. I mean, it could change later on, but I don't wanna wade through immediately at the beginning through that stuff. I mean, it opens up I think it's dual POV is what I got to. I mean, it opens up our main male character's point of view, if he is the main male character, of sexual things already happening with him, with other people, and that's just again, it's not my thing. It's just not my thing. If you like this book, that's fantastic. I just personally I don't like that. I it's just not my thing. I like the main male character pretty much just being obsessed with our main character. That's or just the in general, like, it can be sapphic, it can be a gay romance. I don't like seeing my romantic interests, at least the one that we're like the character that we're not in the main focus of, the other one, I want them to just be pining for our main character. I don't wanna know anything else about their exploits, and unfortunately, it immediately started off with something I don't like. So, I think this one is not for me. I don't think I would rate it very highly. So, I can see why people are gonna enjoy this one, but it is definitely not what I prefer in romantasy. I definitely need a lot more plot, a lot less sex, which is why I generally avoid romantasy. But like I said, I mean, we've been on a journey. We've been on a journey this year trying to figure out what type of romantasy and where, like, my line is. Because Direbound was testing it. Direbound was really testing that limit. A Court of Silver Flames really tests that limit. Unfortunately, Our Vicious Oaths is going to be a DNF, and we are going to move on to actually focusing on Accomplice to the Villain. Because I think now I only have physical books left because everything else was Kindle or I at least had some sort of digital version of it or something like that. So we have Mate, Accomplice to the Villain, and Wild Reverence. I actually have a couple of updates for you guys. It is past Thanksgiving. I have not updated since Thanksgiving, but I have read a lot of things. So we have some things to talk about. But in this clip, we're going to go a little bit out of order and we're going to pretend that I finished Mate first instead of Accomplice to the Villain because I accidentally left like 7 books at my parents' house, and so we're gonna go get them tomorrow. So we just got back today. It's Saturday, but luckily my parents don't live very far away, so we're gonna drive halfway up to their house, and they're gonna drive halfway down to our house, and we're gonna meet, and we're gonna do a handoff because they have my Kindle and like 7 copies of my book, including my copy of Wild Reverence, which I need to read, and I don't have any other version of that. I'm not buying a Kindle. I'm not doing anything like that. I actually need that book. Otherwise, I would just wait until New Year's, and, I kinda want my Kindle as well, kinda feeling weird without it. So anyway, they have my copy of Accomplice to the Villain, and instead of just, like, talking about it without the actual book, we'll just do that update tomorrow. So we're gonna pretend that I read Mate first. We're gonna pretend that we finished this first. I read Mate in about 2 days. I had no updates to give while I was reading it. I just wanted to read it. Really, I read it in, like, a day. I would have finished it in a whole day if I wasn't doing Thanksgiving things at my parents' house. This I could not put down, but that doesn't mean it's not a 5 star. It's not a 5 star. It's not a 5 star. Bride was my favorite book the year that I read it. And I wanted this to be a 5 star so badly. This was a 5 star prediction. It's close. It's close. I loved so much about this book, but this is following our main character, Serena, who is a character from Bride. You don't need to read Bride, but you would definitely miss some references, especially about Low and Misery. So, personally, my recommendation would be to actually read Bride first before going into this one. I also think Bride is a better book, but I think that is depending on what you're going into this book for. I think Bride and Mate are definitely very 2 different books, and I think, again, depending on what type of romance you enjoy, it's gonna depend which one you like better. So, personally for me, Bride was the better book, but I still really enjoyed Mate. I just had a couple of problems with it. So, this is following Serena, like I said, a side character from the first book, a character that actually was very important in the first book, but wasn't actually on page that often. It was a catalyst for most of the things that happened in the first book, which is really cool. So this book is her story and her romance, but still talking about Low and Misery quite a bit. So if you really enjoyed the first book and wanted to see a little bit more of Low and Misery, especially Misery, then this book definitely delivers a little bit with, you don't see a lot of romantic stuff between Misery and Low, but it's Misery is, like, definitely brought up a lot in this book, including other characters from the first book, which I really appreciated. We also definitely built on the world. So again, if you don't read Bride, you might be a little bit confused about exactly what is going on. They try to kind of explain it, but I do think it is better to read Bride. This is more of a this is more of a second book than a standalone in a world type of thing. So I would read the first book. I don't think it's 100% necessary, but I would read the first book. You're following Serena and she has just figured out, well, see, I can't even talk about it without giving spoilers to Bride. That's the thing. But she has figured out something about herself that happened at the end of Bride, and the whole book is ramifications of that thing happening and trying to figure out how to live. And the point of this book is she has found her mate. Like, or someone thinks that she is their mate. And that is the romance. That is what you're going through. I definitely think this is a more closer to a more traditional werewolf romance than Bride was. Bride definitely was a very good introduction to werewolf paranormal romance. This one threw you a little bit more into the deep end. This one was a lot more sexual. This one really was, which is where most of my problems come from. The pining at the beginning of this book was on par with Bride. Bride has some of the best yearning, pining I've ever read in a single book, and that's what I look for in a romance or romantasy or any book, is I want pining, I want yearning, I want the male main character to be dust on the ground when the lead character is not within their vicinity. This delivered on that for the first 50%. My problem started at about 50 to 60% when the plot took a little bit of a turn, which I didn't love. I didn't love the way that the plot decided to plot. It was kind of a little bit weird. I wasn't a super big fan of it. And the romance kind of went from entirely yearning to obsessed with each other in a way that, like, didn't feel like anything happened to get to that point. Like, there was no big, oh my god, confession. There was no big moment between the two of them that was like, okay, yeah, I'm admitting my feelings. You didn't really get that. And I feel like I was missing that. I was missing that moment between the ignoring each other, yearning into, like, the sexual romantic relationship part of things. And when the romantic relationship part of things kicked off, it pretty much was entirely about sex. And that's not my cup of tea. That's just not my cup of tea. I think, again, that's what I'm looking for more, is a more emotional connection. And it built such a good emotional connection. And then it devolved into what I've always been afraid of werewolf books for, it definitely went there. It went there. There was a lot of things in here that I was afraid was gonna be in Bride, and it was not in Bride, or it, like, was very briefly in Bride. Oh, this did it because we're actually following a female werewolf. There's, like, all the stuff that I've been avoiding, like, women going into the heat and the nodding stuff, and it's just not for me. It's not for me. It's not what I like to read about. And it was difficult to skip it because it was like 20% of the book. Like you hit the 60% mark and it was like smut for the next like 20%. And I was like, wow, this is never going to end. It's literally never going to end. So this is going to get a 4. I'm between a 4 and a 4.5. Like I still loved it. I still love this book. It's just not it was just a little too intense for me. So I think I'm gonna stick to a 4 right now. This could change to a 4.5 by the end of the month. Don't be surprised if this does go up half a point. It will never be a 5. It won't be a 5. I don't feel the same connection to this book that I do to Bride, but I still very much loved it, and I still would love another book in the series, which I don't know if there will be, but I would be totally down to read it. I just, again, hope it's not a werewolf female that we're following, because Bride got away with having Misery's a vampire, and so she doesn't go into the same heat as female werewolves. I never thought I'd be talking about this stuff on my channel. Never thought I would. Not what I love talking about on this channel. So anyway, 4.5. See, look at that. 4.5 almost just popped right out. 4. 4 stars. Still has not dethroned The Night and the Moth. I thought it was. And then I was really nervous because I'm like, "Oh, girl, I'm gonna have to fight," because I said that Emily Wilds and I said Witch's Magical Guide for Innkeeping, they're not romantasy, and I would put mate in romance. I wouldn't put mate in romantasy personally. I think it skates a line a little bit more than the other 2 do, but yeah, I would be suspicious about that. So, I will talk to you guys about Accomplice to the Villain when I get my book tomorrow.
The update that I've been waiting to give you guys, I got my stuff back. I got my stuff back, which is crazy because, like I said, I was missing this book, I was missing Wild Reverence, I was missing my Kindle, plus Alchemy of Secrets, which I have to read for my book club, and so many other things. It was not great. And even worse, totally forgot to vote in the final round because I was too busy thinking about my laptop. I literally have an iMac. I could have just used that and looked up stuff, but I just like didn't. And I have my phone. Could have voted on there, but I was like, "Oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to record my reaction to these things." So I like didn't even really look at it. Like I briefly glimpsed at it and talked to some people about it, but I don't remember what actually happened in the category. So the top 10, everything, it's gonna all be a surprise. It's gonna be a surprise. So I am gonna have a separate video reacting to the entire Goodreads things that comes out on the 4th. So I am gonna have that as a separate video because I'll be reacting to everything. But at the end of, or I guess at the end, yeah, at the end of this video, because I should be done Wild Reverence before that comes out. At the end of this video, I will talk more in depth about the Romantasy category, and I won't talk about any of the other Goodreads categories in this video specifically. So sorry, we missed the middle round. I did not mean to do that. That was definitely a big mistake. Whoopsies. But I will talk about the top 10 versus like what didn't make it. Anyway, Accomplice to the Villain, I did finish this a few days ago. I am giving it a 3.5. And this is really disappointing because this and Mate were both 5-star predictions. Mate, I still really loved. This one, this was a struggle. This actually legitimately was a struggle, but I see where the setup is for the next book. But to be honest, I don't know if I could tell you what actually happened in this book. Like, I'm really glad I actually didn't reread books 1 and 2, because I was gonna reread books 1 and 2 to like really get into this, but instead I read like recaps of them, like very intense, in-depth recaps. So I was good because I remembered all the characters, remember what was happening. And honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't waste my time rereading the first 2 books and then giving this like a mediocre rating. And the 3.5 is just because I loved the first 2 books so much. I liked seeing the characters again. It's probably closer to like a solid 3. I feel like I need to change my rating actually to a 3. I just, honestly, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. I feel like it just rehashed a bunch of the stuff that we already went over in book 2. I feel like all of the stuff that we did in book 2, it was like erased and we had to like re-go do a bunch of it again because we're dealing with like these magical creature things and nothing really happened in this book that wasn't already done in book 2. Like, it just kind of reset a bunch of stuff. It reset a bunch of stuff with family members. I feel like the biggest thing that happened in this was dealing with a new family member that popped up in the last book at the end of the book. And that was like the biggest thing. But again, it drew out the relationship again. Like, the first 2 books were so good because the yearning was so good, but we got some payoff in the second book. And it feels like this book just completely backtracked the romance again, just to like add the sense of longing. But like, there comes a point when longing, it gets annoying. And now we're 3 books deep, and that's what we're doing still. We're still doing that. There needs to be some sort of payoff, but I'm a little nervous that this author doesn't potentially know how to write an actual relationship, because she's refusing to. Like, she's actively refusing to write a real relationship. And to be honest, the plot in this wasn't very good. It was heavily relying on the romantic relationships that were developing. And now I am very concerned that she does not know where to take the book once the 2 characters get together, because she is refusing to allow them to get together. And we are hitting the point where they need to be together. It's becoming annoying, and the fact that it is the main plot point is them still not being together. So that's all I can really say about it. It kind of was just really annoying. The humor in these books normally is something I really, really like, but I think this one took it a step even further into cheesiness. And so I did not like that. The humor was almost too much in this one for me. And that's as someone saying they liked the first 2 books and the humor in them. This one, it just did a lot. It was trying to do too much. This also suffered greatly from perspective changes. We are now adding a ton of perspectives from like other people in the books, and it would switch at the worst times. I have a huge pet peeve about that if it's my issue with Immoral Consequences. When I read that, stop switching at the most integral parts of the book. Like, just stop doing it. Stop. It's really annoying. Stop doing it. Just let me sit in what's happening with these characters and let me go to these characters instead of switching to like a really boring perspective and going over what they're doing. I just don't care. I don't care. I want the main, I would just want there to be a storyline. I want there to be a storyline. I feel like there just wasn't really a storyline in this book until the ending. The ending had a really cool storyline, and unfortunately to get there just wasn't very good. So I'm gonna change this to a solid 3. This one makes me more angry than anything else. Slam dunk, home run, 5-star, and it was not. Like, I was expecting this to be my vote in this category, to be honest, and definitely was not. So this is a 3-star, very sad, and we're gonna be moving on to the final book for this video, and that is Wild Reverence. I'm so nervous about this. I am at my final straw for Rebecca Ross. So let's talk about my history with Rebecca Ross right now. So the first thing that I ever read was Dreams Lie Beneath. Standalone young adult, loved it. One of my favorite standalone young adult books I've ever read. I love it. I have 2 copies of it. Obsessed with it. So then I picked up Divine Rivals, and I was like, okay, I'm liking the beginning of it. I'm really enjoying it. And then it went into Insta Love Town, and I really did not like that. I thought it was a little bit, but it was actually very boring in the center of the book. And so I didn't enjoy it. I was very sad about it. Then I tried A River Enchanted, and I made it a chapter into River Enchanted because I didn't like the writing style. The writing style was very, very different from Divine Rivals and Dreams Lie Beneath. So that leads us here. We have a 5-star, a 3-star, and a DNF so far. And I am going to retry A River Enchanted if this goes well. Like, if I hate this, I'm going to throw out A River Enchanted to retry it. But as of right now, I have a series that I'm going to be doing where I'm retrying books. It's a one-off because I don't have a ton that I actually want to retry. But I'm going to be doing a video where I'm retrying some books that I don't necessarily think I gave my full attention to, and then I want to give like a long period of time to just read with the physical book, that kind of thing. And so the books that are going to be included in that are A River Enchanted. I have Serpent and the Wings of Night. We're going to try that again now that I'm more in my romantasy era, although I don't know about that one. We're going to try them. There could be many DNFs. I mean, I could DNF every single one of them if they're not working for me, because again, they are already books that I did not like. Then I'm going to be trying Vilest Things, Bury Your Bones in Midnight Soil. I do want to try that one again, physically reading it, because I did listen to that on audio. Bat Eater, I got to get through that one section that I couldn't get through. I do want to try that one again. And then I had another one. I don't remember what it was. I have them written down somewhere. So there is one more. I just can't remember what it is. So that's going to be probably 2 videos. I really would like to try some of those books over because I think I could potentially like at least one of them, and maybe I just wasn't in the right mood. So anyway, Wild Reverence, this is a standalone taking place in the same world as Divine Rivals. I have read reviews about it because I wanted to make sure that I actually wanted to try to pick this up, and a lot of people said it has nothing to do with Divine Rivals, that the very end is like a tiny homage, kind of at the end of like the Throne of Glass series. There's like a little hint to the other series. You don't need it. You don't, well, now that she's expanding the worlds. But similar idea apparently is there's like a tiny little reference and then it moves on. So I'm not too worried about catching the reference. I'm just hoping that this gives me the vibes that I've been searching for since reading Dreams Lie Beneath. But I am thinking that potentially that may have been a one-off. But anyway, we're gonna try reading Wild Reverence. This may end on a DNF. I don't know. I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping I love this book, and it's also like absolutely gorgeous. So I just finished filming the Goodreads video reaction to the finals. Speaking of which, we are going to talk about the Romantasy category because there's some interesting things that happened in it, I feel like, but I also agree with a lot of stuff that happened in it as well. So let's go really fast look at this before I give my final update, because it is a final update about Wild Reverence, and then we're going to roll into the end of the video and the outro. But first, I want to take a look at the Romantasy category. Onyx Storm winning, I mean, it's not a surprise. There's zero amounts of surprise for this. So Onyx Storm, we didn't read for this video, but I already read it. I gave it a 4. I think a solid 4. I think I was talking about a 4.5, but it's a solid 4. I don't think it should have won. Do I think Fourth Wing and Iron Flame in previous year should have won? Yes. Do I think that Onyx Storm should have won? No. Alchemized, again, it's not surprising. That had such a huge campaign. People were so excited about it. I'm sad Night in the Moth didn't win. That is my choice. Night in the Moth is still my choice after this whole video. It did not change. My opinion did not change. I did find some new favorites. I also found some slightly disappointing books, which I wasn't expecting. But my mind has not changed. It was the Night in the Moth. I do think that should have won, personally, for me. Mate should have been the romance category. 4.5. I really enjoyed it. It's a 4.5. It's a 4.5. I was so tempted to give it a 5, but I still had so many problems with it, so it's a 4.5. Shield of Spares, you guys know, didn't like that one. Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. I'm shocked it made it to the top 10, just because I do think it's just straight up fantasy. It's adorable, cute, 5-star. Would have been my choice if I actually thought it was romantasy. Accomplice to the Villain. Yikes. Solid 3-star. That was rough. Companion of Lost Tale should be in fantasy. Enchantra was also rough. What did I give it? 2.5? Oh man. Wild Reverence. That's what we're going to talk about in a second. We're going to talk about that in a second. Silver Elite. I'm still weird about it being in this category. Like, I almost think Silver Elite should be in fantasy because, I don't know, I just didn't read it as a romantasy book. In my head, it's dystopian, which then lands it just in general fantasy, but it is very heavy romance. I'm kind of surprised this made it as far as it did, because a lot of people are talking about how that series also is falling off. Direbound, I'm really sad. It didn't make it to the top 10. I'm really sad. I think that's a fantastic book. 5-star. Irresistible Urge, Rose and Chains, not surprised with this low. Okay, the bottom 4 is what I want to talk about, because I agree with it. Like, totally, except for I don't know about the Wrath of the Fallen. Immortal was terrible. It was a 1-star. It is the worst Sulantan I've read so far. I loved their other series, the Celestial Kingdom series. Loved it. It was phenomenal. I don't know what happened with this book. On Wings of Blood, atrocious. Atrocious writing. It is I can't with that book. I am so confused. This is the type of book that makes me not trust TikTok recommendations. Like, it doesn't, because this is everywhere. People are talking about it. They're like, oh my god, this is amazing, this is the best book, this is such a good romantasy book. And I picked it up thinking it was going to be like my next favorite book. Like, legitimately actually really bad. I don't know anything about Wrath of the Fall, but it is book 4, so unless you have like a huge following. Yeah. Our Vicious Oaths, also not good. I was really sad. I was really excited about this. I thought it was going to be like the next Fourth Wing with these dragons and stuff like that. It was very immediately sex heavy. The relationship was almost non-existent except in the context of sex. So if you are, this is almost more like erotic fantasy, I feel like. So if you're more into erotic romantasy fantasy, this is probably more up your alley. I also wasn't a big fan of the writing. I'm hoping the Blood Trials, which is the other book that I have by this author, I haven't read it yet, is, I know it's completely different, but I'm hoping the writing style is also a little bit different, because I thought our Vicious Oath was pretty choppy writing, which was really disappointing. I think the two most disappointed, just because I thought they were going to be really good after reading Direbound and having a great time and not having expectations for it. I thought On Wings of Blood and Our Vicious Oaths were going to be 5 stars, 4 to 5 stars, just because of how much I was enjoying my time reading Direbound. And unfortunately, those two are the definition of romantasy books that do not work for me and that make me suspicious of TikTok and BookTube and recommendations. And again, my issue is more with the writing than anything else. I can get over the fact that it's erotic fantasy and I just didn't know. Okay, fine. Not my style of book. The writing though, I thought the writing was really choppy, and same with On Wings of Blood. It can be erotic fantasy if it wants to. I don't know if that one is. I didn't make it far enough. But the writing is what I have a problem with. It just needs more editing. It needs more time before it's being published out there. So those are my thoughts. Disappointed that Onyx Storm won, but I am in no way surprised. Okay, let's talk about our final update. Our final update is that I made it to 50 pages in Wild Reverence, and I am not DNFing it. I know this is kind of weird. I don't think I've ever done this before. I may have done this before. I'm not going to read this in this video. I don't think I would vote for it, so I don't feel as bad about not reading it. However, this is a dense book. This is a dense book. It is Thursday. I have technically until Saturday to read it, and I just don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I made it 50 pages in like 4 days. I think I just need to take my time with this book because I'm not liking it. I am fascinated and bored at the same time, which is what I'm struggling with, because when I'm reading it, I'm having a good time. It's just taking me a really long time. My brain is really having to focus. It's having to flip back to like these reference pages because a lot of gods are being brought up, and it's just a very different world that is not being explained very well. And so you kind of have to put 2 and 2 together, definitely at the beginning of this book. I'm thinking it'll probably calm down the later we go into this book, the more we get into the romance. But right now, there's just a lot of politics happening already without any real explanation other than these 2 groups are at war all the time. They're always fighting. So that is taking me a little bit to get used to. It's just very dense. So I just don't want to rush it in this video, DNF it, and be like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And I don't feel that way. Like, I want to continue reading it. So I'm not going to push myself. It's better than I was expecting, but this doesn't mean I'm going to finish this book. Like, I could continue reading it and just not enjoy it and end up DNFing it. It's just, hopefully I'll have that update for you at the beginning of January when I do my December wrap up. So that being said, we are finished with this video. So let's talk about all the books that we read and how I would rank them. I'm wearing orange in so many of these clips. I am filming so much stuff today, but I am done. I'm done with November, and that means doing all these little wrap-ups, all these little things that I have to do. And so we're wrapping up this romantasy vlog because I am done. I'm ready to read some sequels. We are officially in my sequel readathon era, so I need to start reading some sequels. And this is not, well, actually I did read quite a few sequels in this. This is not the sequel time. Did I read a, no, I'm hallucinating, I swear to God. So let's talk about all the books that we read in this video, because there's a lot. And the books that we didn't, because there are some that I did not talk about in this video that I read previously. So very quickly, let's actually talk about the books that I read, because I'm not really going to be talking about Compendium, and I'm not going to be talking about Wild Reverence. Those are the 2 that I chose not to read specifically in the video. There are a few on my little graphic thing, which I will pop up right now. Here's our final little graphic. And I'm going to be popping up our little final list that I compiled. So if the list that I compiled is different than what I showed you, go with the list that I compiled, because that was a later time and that was full-brained me actually thinking competently about what I chose. So let's talk about what we read. First, we read A Witch's Guide to Innkeeping. This was a 5-star. I don't think it should be in the romantasy category. However, it is fantastic. Loved it. Should have won the fantasy category. Next up is Enchantra. This is the sequel to Phantasma. I ended up giving this a 2.5. Really was not impressed. Did not like the main character. Did not like the setup. I thought the games were okay, kind of boring. If you're telling me that you're going to be Ready or Not meets, what else did it say? It said something else. It better be entertaining and it better be fun, because Ready or Not is a fantastic movie, and this did not live up to the fun that was in Ready or Not. So not a fan of it. Really hoping the next book is better. Then we read Accomplice to the Villain. I'm giving this a 3-star. This is the 3rd book in the Assistant to the Villain series. It's starting to get boring. I gave the first book a 5-star, second book a 5-star. to drop all the way to a 3, it was a lot of rinse and repeat. We weren't really getting anywhere with the romance. It has just set up again for more longing, pining, and I'm starting to get sick of it, and that is someone who loves longing and pining saying they're getting sick of it. And we read Direbound, the surprise of this video, 5-star. It is not better than Night in the Moth or Witch's Magical Guide to Innkeeping. However, wow. Wow. I am so excited for the next book. I think this was so fun, so different. Well, it's basically Fourth Wing, but with wolves. Loved it. And then the final book that we actually read for this video was Mate. This is the sequel to Bride companion novel. I definitely would read the first book. Like I talked about it, you cannot read the first book and read this one instead. However, you're gonna miss a lot of stuff, especially the world building. There's a lot of world building in the first book, and this world is different than ours. So I would recommend reading Bride before you read this one. Liked it, gave it a 4.5. Had some issues. This is definitely more sex heavy than Bride and some of Ali Hazelwood's other books. Like I think this is more sex heavy than Deep End. A lot of people are like very pearl clutchy about Deep End for some reason. I don't think Deep End is actually that bad. I've read significantly worse. I think this is spicier than Deep End. Then on to the books that I rated but did not read in this video, and we have The Night in the Moth, which is a 5-star. It is on my top favorite list of the year. This is what I voted for the Romantasy category because it is Romantasy. It is a 5-star. I love it. If it was just best book of this video, it would be Witch's Magical Guide to Innkeeping. However, this is fantastic. This wins the Romantasy category in my eyes. Then we have Silver Elite. Again, not sure where this should fall. It feels weird putting the Romantasy category because for some reason my mind separates fantasy and dystopian. Dystopian for me is like its own separate thing. It sometimes leans more sci-fi, like the technology in this to me is sci-fi. So I feel like to me this belongs in sci-fi. So dystopian sci-fi to me, I mean, it's like romance sci-fi. So like ro-fi. That sounds weird, but that's kind of what it like seems like to me. So I also, even if I give this a 5-star, I probably wouldn't have voted for it, but I did give it a 3.75 and I really enjoyed it. And then the surprise of not this video is Shield of Sparrows. This should have been a 5-star. I ended up giving it a 2-star. I am not continuing in this series. I really didn't like this book, sadly. It was almost too slow burn to the point where nothing was happening. I thought this was one of the most boring fantasy books that I've read in a really long time. I just didn't care for pretty much anything about it. I didn't like the main characters. I didn't think they had much of a personality, and it legitimately felt like the main character, the main love interest, hates her. Like, I don't actually want actual legitimate hate. I like pining, and I didn't feel any pining. I felt unadulterated hate. Dislike, hate, get away from me. And that's really not my vibe with a very boring plotline. So 2-star, potentially lower. We'll leave it at a 2. So my order for this video is, so including the books that I actually don't think should belong in here, this is my order. Honestly, I mean, from Silver Elite up, great time. So in this video, I read 1, 2, 3 books, including 2 5-stars that I absolutely loved. And then we had 2 that were kind of middle of the road, mediocre. Because again, Accomplice of the Villain, I don't dislike it. I just thought it was kind of boring. Enchantra, almost DNF'd it. Probably should have stayed DNFing, but I wanted to try the 3rd book because I know there's going to be a 3rd book coming out. So that's my order. That's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with this one. I mean, finding 2 5-stars, I feel like that's a win no matter what. I could have found like 3 1-stars and it still probably would have been a 1 with 2 5-stars. It's crazy. But we didn't actually have any 1s in this video. And we really didn't DNF anything. Oh no, I totally forgot. I didn't include the DNFs. On Wings of Blood and Our Vicious Oaths. We're just gonna leave it. We're gonna leave what we talked about. I just didn't like those. So my brain kind of just wiped them away because I loved everything else that happened in this video. So anyway, that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely make sure to subscribe to miss any future content. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Definitely leave me a comment down below what you thought about the books. If you read any of these, which ones you want to read. I think because our winner was A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, if there is a fox emoji, leave a fox emoji. If there's not, because I'm really bad with emojis, leave a house because it's all about this inn. And I'm pretty sure you can leave a house emoji. So anyway, that is everything that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.